I was sitting there alone in my apartment that I was so proud of, and I just kind of lifted up my arm and said, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, like that's when the first time I felt an emotion that was anger. And I was so angry. I was so angry that this was happening to me and how my body had betrayed me. Everyone told me that this is a mistake. What are you doing? Like, how will you support yourself? Nobody even knows about this stuff that you're planning to do, and you're leaving a secure job, like, which gives you your residence visa and all of that to do this. And it was that strong, the calling, because I found myself telling them that I need to follow my heart, and if it doesn't work out, I'll find another job. I'll figure it out. I need to do this.
People need to start realizing that we're not just physical beings. We're not just a collection of atoms and molecules, but there's something beyond that, which is a life force within us that's connected to something that isn't just part of this 4D world that we live in. And if they can find ways to connect to that spirit, that energy that's beyond these dimensions that we live in, there's a lot of good that can come from that, as is evident in your story. Hello.
Hello. Good morning
It is
to you.
somebody's birthday today. Good morning to you. Good evening. Happy birthday, Zims.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How's your day been so far? I know it's evening time in Dubai. It's morning over here. How's your day so far?
It's been great. It's been my day because my
Love it.
husband is away in another city, and
Right.
I've had this chance to kind of just commune with myself and just kind
Cool.
of chill. And now we're doing this, so yeah, I have
Yeah.
human interaction.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
human may be questionable. I don't know. Perhaps.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Um, Listen, because it's your birthday today, I think
Hmm.
this is a really good opportunity to talk about something that I really want to talk about, or have you talk about, is the Zimmy origin story, because that story is absolutely mind-blowing, fascinating, and even though I know it very well, but I want the people that are going to be watching this and listening to this to hear the story because it's absolutely amazing, Zim. So I want to take you back to when you first started your career and you got into advertising. Tell me a little bit more about that before we talk about how you transitioned to doing what you've been doing for the last 16 years.
Right. Okay. Um, So yeah, that was like 25 years ago that I started
Hmm.
working in JWT, which was like the top advertising agency in the world. And it was like so amazing for me, a big accomplishment. And I was doing really well. I had my own apartment and I had a great job and, you know, the dream. If you
You
listen,
used to drive a Jag, like life was pretty good.
not at that time, no. But yeah, no.
Okay,
At that time, no. Come on, that was my
okay.
retirement gift.
Was that what?
Yeah, yeah. When I left the agency life, I got that for myself before, you know, moving into what I do. But yeah, so I was feeling really good. I was independent, which was very, very important to me. And 3 years into the job, I woke up one morning and within the first 2 hours, I got paralyzed down the right side of my body. It started slowly and kind of just creeping, like, and just feeling weak. And then within 2 hours, I was dragging my right leg. I had gone to work, attended a meeting while feeling really weird. And then once it finished, I felt much worse. So I went to the hospital and waited in the emergency room, getting worse, like literally had to lift my arm up, and my face wasn't feeling like it was right. They did all the tests, MRIs and everything, and they said there's a lesion in your brain on the left side, which controls the coordination and movement of the right side. And it is a pretty big sized lesion. And this is a comprehensive paralysis. There's no going back from this. And we will have to give you medications so that you don't develop multiple lesions, because that can lead to multiple sclerosis. And you'll have to do a lot of physiotherapy so that the muscles don't atrophy, but this is done. And we don't know how it happened. It happens. And gosh, that was a lot for me, because I had gone there by myself, and I was living by myself, and, like I said, highly independent. And that was a lot in one day.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the moment when they said those things to you? How you took it, how you were feeling, what were the thoughts that were going through your head?
I think, in those kind of moments, most of us do, but that was also my coping mechanism. You just kind of dissociate. I had been doing that all my life, since childhood. And I remember it. I don't remember the emotion so much, because when you dissociate, that's what happens. You're kind of watching yourself. So I remember lying on this, thing in the doctor's office, and him using a pin on the soles of my foot and asking me to tell him if I feel anything. And I was freaking out inside. That's all I remember about the emotion. I was freaking out because I wanted to say, yes, I feel it. Like, I wanted to almost make believe. But I didn't. I couldn't feel a thing. But yeah, I think as soon as he explained to me what happened, I was dissociated. I don't remember emotions. I just feel like this white noise from there.
And so, what happened after that? You left the doctor's office. You were still able to move around at that point, with some difficulty, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I had driven there, and
Right.
I decided that I can drive home, because it kind of maybe hadn't sunk in, perhaps.
Right.
And I used my left arm and left leg and drove home, which wasn't too far, but still, that was reckless. And got myself into the apartment with the medication that they had prescribed, and just kind of collapsed. And I started taking the medication, and of course told work that I need a few days off. And the next few days, it wasn't just my body that I was dealing with being lifeless, but my mind was also becoming really heavy, and I couldn't really properly think, which to me was very, very important, because, like I said, I had a history of dissociating from the emotions and the body, but the mind was my protector. The mind was my ally. The mind was, everything to me, to be able to think things through, to process, to understand, and then from there formulate a plan. What are we going to do? And that was not happening. I couldn't hold a thought fully, and that was very, very scary. That was scarier for me than the body part.
Right.
So after a few days of the medication, I decided, okay, well, if this is a lifelong thing, then I need to check if the mind paralysis is also from the lesion, or is it because of the medication? So I need to stop the medication and see what happens. And yeah, in a couple of days after stopping it, I could at least think properly. Like I felt like myself in my
Right.
mind.
Right. But in those few days, between going to the doctor and you know, being by yourself for a couple of days and taking the medication and seeing the effects of it, and then another couple of days of being off of it for your mind to kind of clear up. Was there someone helping you? Like I can't even imagine going through all of that, you know, by yourself in your apartment, and dealing with this catastrophic situation.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even imagine that either. But I don't know why, or maybe I do. I was too scared to ask for help because that would make me say it. There would be
Right.
like a finality to it, like this is what has happened. And, I didn't even tell my parents. I
Right.
didn't tell, there were probably three people at that point who
Mm-hmm.
knew, one because of work, and two
Mm-hmm.
friends whom I did not give the full story to.
Right.
And I just said, I'm not feeling well. There's something wrong. They've given me medication, so hopefully that will help. And
Mm-hmm.
they were like, of course, if you need anything, because no one had seen me like that, right? So they
Right.
didn't know the extent of it. And yeah, I think I was just scared to have that
To
confirmed
accept it, even.
by,
Right.
yeah, because, we human beings are very much observer based. We will act differently when we are being observed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if someone had seen me like that, I would have just kind of given up maybe, because that's it. Seeing the sympathy in someone's eyes or feeling
Mm-hmm.
like I can't do without them and their
Right.
help, that probably would have broken my mind further.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is all in retrospect when I started studying all of this and thinking about it. But at that
Sure.
point, that was not a thought. That was
It was
not
just an instinct.
really, yeah, exactly. That was just like, it's almost like because I had grown up like sorting things out for myself by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one more thing for me that, okay, shit has happened. How do we
Mm-hmm.
deal with it? And yeah, and then I started being able to think and being able to formulate my thoughts and to grasp how big this was, the enormity of this life sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and dreading that that's it, my life is over. I would have to go back
Right.
to my parents who raised me, and they will have to take care of me for the rest of their lives, and just feeling all of that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like a burden and very, very dependent, which is the opposite of what I set out to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I feel like that's why I wasn't allowing myself to feel that much,
Right.
because it's just too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, what it must be like to go through a situation like that. And so, what did you do next? What happened?
Well, I recognize that this is not just a few days, and I kind of have to tell work at least that I'm going to take my annual leave right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that month off and figure it out. I'll see other doctors. I mean, that's what I told them. And, the couple of friends who knew, I did ask them to, bring me something.
Mm-hmm.
At that time there wasn't so much ordering anything on your phone, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I need a bit of food, I need this and whatever. So, and they
Mm-hmm.
would bring it,
Mm-hmm.
but I would still do my very best to stand up and, not show the extent of what was going on.
Right.
And then during that, month off, I actually didn't go back and see any doctors. I didn't go for physiotherapy. I didn't take the medication again. I do not recommend this to anyone,
I
obviously.
was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, this is not the right thing to do. I'm just very transparently sharing what I did. Not necessarily proud of it, but it was almost like, how many medications are they going to change? How many times will I have to feel that feeling of losing my mind? And all of that. It was just too new. And I thought, okay, well, if it's a lifelong thing, we have time. It's okay. Like, like we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to rush into this. And I think within a week or 10 days of since it started, I was sitting there alone in my apartment that I was so proud of. And I just kind of lifted up my arm and said, what the hell is wrong with you? Like that's when the first time I felt an emotion that was anger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Right.
so angry. I was so angry that this was happening to me and how my body had betrayed me. And that was the first time I cried since it all started. And I was just like rocking and holding my hand and in my arm and just, yeah, just venting,
Yeah.
just so angry, so disappointed, and so lost. And once I kind of, I guess, got through that, wave of
Mm-hmm.
anger, below it seemed to be, for the first time, love
Mm-hmm.
and gratitude. Like I started thinking about, oh my God, like I'm so sorry. I'm actually grateful for you. I started thinking about everything that I had done until then in my life, not even realizing what a blessing it is, to have all your limbs and digits working and moving and everything being healthy.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I just would sit there for hours, like loving myself. Like, I love you. You're amazing. You're so beautiful. You're so wonderful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for everything we've done in the past. I'm so grateful for everything we're going to do in the future. I know it's going to be okay. And like, really, at that point, it did feel like there was some grace, some love, something bigger than me flowing in
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere. I mean, it could very well be my mom watching over me. It
Sure.
could very well be, I don't know, whatever it is, my higher self,
Mm-hmm.
my future self,
And energy.
Yes, exactly. So there was something so comforting about that way of connecting with my body that even though I knew that it won't make a shred of difference,
Mm-hmm.
that just felt like my only comfort and consolation. Like that's all I found that I could do at
Right.
that point. And I would, fall asleep, like sometimes just on the couch, sometimes on the bed, whatever it is. It was just all days were mixed up and I still hadn't figured out what I'm going to do. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I was just preparing to go back home, to,
Right.
just pack up and go back home. But something just kept telling me to not, take that decision just yet. Just use
Mm-hmm.
your, annual leave, use this time, and we'll see. And during that 1 month that I was off, I was sleeping on the couch, just napping, I think. And I was woken up from it because my hand went like, like trying to move something off of my face, but my left hand. And I did that as if like, you know, it was a hair or something. And then I sat up and I was like, I felt that. I felt that on the right side of my face. Because it was all numb before that. I couldn't feel anything. And then I went and looked in the mirror, and then I started doing the whole I love you, and you know, like the whole, as if I'm the mom, like, you know, with that much love that I had never
Right.
felt for myself before.
Right.
And crying and hopeful and just looking at myself in the mirror. And yeah, that was, I was sat on the floor doing that for, I don't even know how long. And from that day onwards, it's just all started coming back. Like it started with my face, like how when your dental anesthesia starts wearing off,
Right.
but like
Right.
really slowly over,
Okay.
I mean, not very slowly if you know, in the scheme of things, it was a few days from the day that, you know,
Sure.
sensation started, but it was coming back
Mm-hmm.
without me, you know, doing anything
Right.
except for connecting with myself with love
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and holding myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was healing something within me, which was not just that physical, you know, issue. And then slowly the foot started and the
Mm-hmm.
leg, and like it was just like, you know, just improvements every day. I
Mm-hmm.
had to drag my leg less and things, and I was just like, yes, you know, like every little slight thing. And you know how I told you like my mind was the most important thing. My mind was like analyzing every movement and saying, ah, see, today we didn't have to do this to get
Right.
up. Today it just happened like this, and you know. And my God, by the end of that 1 month off from work,
Mm-hmm.
my face, my foot, my leg, even to some extent my arm,
Mm-hmm.
were seemed like they were perfectly normal back again.
Right. Right.
And
Absolutely
so,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So I started going back to work again, driving with my left foot and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because the right wasn't that strong yet,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, interchanging, and started working. And I had in my childhood taught myself to write with my left hand as well, so sort of ambidextrous,
Right.
but in a childish handwriting. So I was taking notes, I was doing my work like properly.
Right.
And slowly the arm and the hand and everything, just like everything else, came back. It got
Mm-hmm.
healed. Hi, everyone. We just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for being here with us at the Epiphany Dialogues, where curiosity meets consciousness. If you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button, follow, subscribe, and share with like-minded people.
And you're also welcome to join our conversation. If you have an epiphany to share, please leave us a comment or email us. Details are in the description below. And with that, back to the episode. And so, first of all, incredible that happened.
Yes.
Even listening to it now, and I've heard this story before, but you know, hearing you talk through it again, it just reminds me of how incredible that story is. That here you are, there's doctors telling you that you've got a lesion that's on your brain. Potentially, you're going to have more. You need to take medication, and this is going to be your life now. And within a month, without taking medication, without doing anything else, you have restored functionality in your body. So at that point, when you started going back to work, what did you think about everything that had just happened over the previous month?
I wasn't sure if this is real. I was shaky. I was almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was
Right.
keeping myself occupied and doing what I loved to do and being around, all the people, the normal stuff. It was very nice. And yet I was, of course, worried that what if this is just, a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when I went back to the doctor after what I call the 50 days of magic, it was on the 50th day that I felt like, okay, everything is fine. And I call
Right.
it the 50 days of magic.
Mm-hmm.
I did go back, I think, a little bit after that. And he did the test again and he said, well, the lesion is still there
Right.
and this is an anomaly. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's a surge that happens when the body just, covers things up or makes believe, but it crashes. So come back when it crashes. Don't go without the medication. We'll figure it out. He was
My
very
God.
kind. He was, like I totally get that science and medicine have not yet caught up to our
Mm-hmm.
magnificence and our superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And so considering that he was very kind. He
Mm-hmm.
just said, when it happens, just come back. It's okay. Like we can do something.
My goodness.
And I said, yeah, okay. And
Yeah.
it's been 21 years since then.
21 years since then. Yeah. And the doctor's like, oh, the data says that this is not stuff that just goes away. It just keeps happening. It'll keep affecting your life. So you're going to be back here. And there's no evidence that shows that everything is going to be fine for the next 21 years of your life.
Yeah, and there
Goes
didn't
to
seem
show.
to be a lot of interest in saying, oh, let's find out what happened. Like, how
Right.
did this? It's just like, oh, yeah, no, it happens once in a while.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what I found, like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, how
Yeah.
come? Because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
got me into what I do. But,
Yeah.
that was strange.
Yeah. And so did you ever go back to that doctor and never again, eh?
I never went back, and I never later at any point checked if the lesion is still there or not, because whatever the case is, I have to believe in what I see and how I'm
Yeah.
doing. And if it is still there, but it has decided to not do what the doctors think it should do, then
Mm-hmm.
we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom line is everything is okay, and whether it's there or it's not there, and all of that, it doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day, so that's amazing. That's amazing. So you got to this point where now you're cured, and it obviously took some time for you to believe that everything is fine. But you're still working at the advertising agency, and your career was still going, and your life was still going in the direction that it was going before all of this happened. What shifted? What changed that got you into this new direction that you've been in?
After that, it was a personal miracle, right? And because, like I said, I wanted to know what happened though. Like, like I
Yeah.
wanted some explanation, and I felt this almost like a rebirth. And I had so much like energy and even more curiosity than I had, and this hunger to know what have I managed to do without the medications and without anything to reverse this. And all I could think of was that it was that connection with my body, that love
Mm-hmm.
and that gratitude. And how do I explain this? Because these things were so alien to me at that point. I did not know about
Right.
mind over matter or energy or anything at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I started looking, and at that time, 20, 21 years ago in Dubai, there wasn't a lot available in terms of, I don't know, courses or things to study about how the mind works. But as you know, I mean, there's a saying, right? What you seek is seeking you.
Right.
Even then, without like the age of everything being on the internet and without having a smartphone and all of that, I found one after the other modalities and courses of study that would help explain to me how the mind works. So I started with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which is all about your neurology and your words, right? So that's kind of what I
Right.
had done, which was honestly, again, very fortunate to have found this institute that was teaching it, affiliated from the US and all of that. Studied that while I was studying it, and like just fascinated with how the mind works, and all of. And then I found another institute that was offering clinical hypnotherapy, and another that was offering like energy healing, Reiki, pranic. I basically just went to everything that I could, and I would start like doing level 1, and if it pulls me in, I would go all the way through. If not, I
Right.
get what I get from it, and continue searching. And that's what shifted. Like my calling called me, and I was just pulled into this world of energy healing and clinical hypnotherapy and all sorts of other modalities that I have studied over the years. And yeah,
But you're still
that's what
going
happened.
to work at that time. You were still working at the advertising agency and doing all of this as a side project, an
Yes.
investigation into all of this stuff.
Yes, yes, and it was just brilliant how I managed to have the time and the energy, because advertising is crazy. You hardly have time to sleep, but I somehow, like, life was just paving the path for me. Just be open, and y- I will find the solutions. So to find time to, for some of these, like the graduate course and everything else that I did, I had to be away for a while as well, to
Right.
California, to the Netherlands, and things like that. So it, I found the means, I found the energy, and I found the support from my work. They were amazing people that I worked with, and I managed to complete the certifications that I wanted to while I was working, and paying for it myself, of course. And slowly, of course, I did tell my parents or other people what had happened, but
Right.
not so dramatically.
Right. Right. Yeah. By this time, since you're quote unquote back to normal, they wouldn't even have understood and realized kind of the the seriousness of the situation.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think even most people around me did not pick it up just because I didn't share it. And again, I do not advise people to do this. Please reach out. Please accept support. It does help, but this is just my story as it is. And I
But
was doing
potentially,
what felt right. Yeah.
but potentially supplement whatever traditional approach is available with the sorts of things that you did, right? To
Yeah.
focus on gratitude and love and kindness and all of this stuff towards yourself, towards your body, and everything that's happening
Of
within it.
course, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many beautiful, magical healing modalities available to us. And if nothing at all, what tell people is at least it'll help you to connect a little bit more with your inner guidance, so that you know if this medication versus that, like it doesn't have to be like I don't want medication at all. I'm
Right,
not
right.
promoting that. I take medication. But it's more about, should I do this course of treatment now? Should I wait? Should I check for a second opinion, you know. So even that is much better when you are guided from within rather than just responding or reacting to whatever is told. Medicine is amazing. Science is awesome. I love it. It's just that, yeah, they're still catching up. They're still trying to prove things, and these kind of things that happen are taken as anomalies, and we call them miracles, and they are, of course, but it's just that we do all have these abilities, we have these superpowers, and we should at least give ourselves a chance to get to know them.
Agreed, agreed. And I think a lot of doctors are now starting to also realize the power of these approaches.
Yes.
They will, of course, do what they're going to do and prescribe what they're going to prescribe in terms of course of action, medication, all of that sort of stuff. But they have started also to encourage you
Yes.
to take some of these elements into account as well as part of like a holistic healing approach.
Yes.
And there might be a lot of people that don't believe in this stuff at all. It doesn't hurt you, right? To do all of these things to supplement whatever traditional process you're going through. And I would say that people need to start realizing that we're not just physical beings. We're not just a collection of atoms and molecules, but there's something beyond that, which is a life force within us that's connected to something that isn't just part of this 4D world that we live in. And if they can find ways to connect to that spirit, that energy that's beyond these dimensions that we live in, there's a lot of good that can come from that, as is evident in your story.
Yes, I agree 100%. And that's why these are called complementary modalities. They're complement to whatever else you want to do. They just help you from a deeper level as well, so that you have something from within you supporting the medication or whatever it is that you're doing. Because it is the body's, role to play to accept. That's why sometimes we react to certain things, sometimes, you know. So if we kind of make the body a partner in this process, and it's from the body that we get the gut feeling and, you know, all of that. So it's just more holistic, and
Right.
holistic means whole. It just
Exactly.
comes from wholeness of you rather than just one part. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I believe happened there, because I was so used to dissociating under crisis or pressure. I think after I had finally moved here and had my own space and it was a safe place for me, that's almost the subconscious invitation to connect with my body. And yes, it was harsh. It was a harsh invitation.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that it was, I know in retrospect, everything kind of makes sense, or we can make it make sense. But for me, I really believe that that's when I stopped dissociating. That's when I almost like my consciousness came back to reside within me. And the connection with the body, rather than just being a tool that I use to get through life, changed very, very much. And the body became a partner. And now we are so one and so connected that everything, like, I check within myself, within my body, how does this feel? You know, sometimes it's like I have regular headaches, and sometimes I need a migraine pill, and sometimes I need a sinus pill, and I don't always know the difference by what kind of headache. And I will just put both of those pills in my hands and say, which one would you like to have? And
Mm-hmm.
I will get a feeling, I will get a sensation, or just drawn to one hand. I'll say, okay, thank you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's it's been a journey. Like I said, it was a bit harsh, but I feel like I was meant to go from my profession to my vocation within this lifetime, and perhaps I wasn't listening to this, subtle nudges and signs, and just focusing on just, one aspect of it, like being independent, making the money, being accomplished. And there was a lot more to it, and that I had to kind of be pulled in like this. But I am very, very grateful, of course. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
changed my
yeah.
life.
And the lives of so many others. If that hadn't happened to you, again, you wouldn't have gone on this path, and you wouldn't have been able to help as many people as you've been able to help over the course of the last 16 years that you've been doing this, and will hopefully continue to do this for at least another 16 years and help
Amen.
thousands more people. That's an amazing story. When did you actually realize, okay, I am not really an advertising executive anymore. I am, a healer, and I'm going to focus full time on doing that.
I mean, gosh, I don't even know. Like, yeah, the advertising door was closed, and that was quite clear. Of course, when I was making the transition, it was right at the cusp of the recession that was starting, and everyone told me that this is a mistake. What are you doing? Like, how will you support yourself? Nobody even knows about this stuff that you're planning to do, and you're leaving a secure job, like, which gives you your residence visa and all of that to do this. And it was that strong, the calling, because I found myself telling them that I need to follow my heart. And if it
Right,
doesn't work out, I'll find another job. I'll
right,
figure it out. I need to
right,
do this. So that
right.
was, yeah, advertising was closed for sure. I
hmm
did really well. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't have the kind of burnout or, that feeling of, oh my God, thank God it's over. It was more like, yeah, this was amazing. And now I'm on to the next adventure.
hmm
And even till today, I mean, it's like I said, 15, 16 years almost that I'm going to be doing this work, and it doesn't feel like work. I don't call myself a healer because I feel like we all have the ability to heal within ourselves. So at best, I'm a guide. And I
Well,
just refer to
sometimes we need to
myself as a
be.
therapist. Yeah, go on.
Well, sometimes you need to be shown the way. Sometimes you need a bit
Yeah,
of support.
yeah,
And I think that that itself is a conduit to healing.
of course.
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just semantics for me. I don't, resonate with that word for myself. I resonate with the person who gets to witness miracles every day. And
I
seriously,
love
I
that.
I am regularly close to tears at times when I see that shift or when I share that with my client in a session and I come out of it and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is my life. It's so meaningful because the deep
Of course.
conversations that happen are so important to me. Like, I'm all about, like, let's talk about the real stuff rather than the
hmm
small talk. And I'm all
Mm.
about lifting people up and helping them to just connect with faith and hope while we work on things. So that is the part of my work that I do, is just hold that space with love more than anything
hmm
else. Everything else is secondary. Whatever I've studied, of course, everything is amazing, but that is almost secondary. How I feel when I do my work, I feel
hmm
like I benefit from it and it brings me as much joy as it brings my clients. And so, like, yeah, I can't even, I tell my husband at the end of a day sometimes, very regularly, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe Zimmy turned out to be a therapist. Like, who would have thought, you know? I mean, the life that I had lived, I grew up feeling very alone and isolated and did not really trust anyone outside of me and
hmm
all of that. And I wasn't even aware that I like people. I actually thought that I don't like people. I'm
Right.
not a people person. I don't
hmm
like them. I
hmm
just want to be in my bubble. And turns out that I had so much love within me, like that. And I'm not trying to make myself out to be something, but I'm being really honest here. Like the
Sure.
love that I experienced for myself, and once that got full and how it flows, I really sometimes, again, I'm moved to tears because it's so genuine. Like I genuinely love people, although I'm not an extrovert still. Please don't call. But I connect with people with so much love that even I am taken aback because I did not know I have it. So it's still every day is still it's still a beautiful learning for me, a journey. I am so grateful every day, and I connect with my body with a lot of love and gratitude every day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people, humankind, deserves a lot of love. We tend to ignore that piece or trivialize it, or these days, the way the world is going, it seems like there's a lot more negativity in the world. And even showing kindness and showing love and showing empathy, all of these kind of things, there's a vast segment of society that looks down on that kind of stuff, and I think it's time for these things to re-emerge and be fortified and supported and spread across the world, because there's so much joy in it, there's so much healing in it, there's so much positivity in it, and I hope that by listening to your story and by continuing to join us on this podcast, people can open their minds and their hearts to this direction, this way of seeing the world and responding to other human beings with kindness and with compassion and with love and support and all of that, to make this world an easier and better and happier place for everyone.
That
Hopefully.
is so beautiful. I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, I just want to, close and remind people that please do connect with yourself, with your mind, your body, your heart, and to listen to your inner guidance. Because there's a quote by Carl Jung, he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Right.
Okay? So
Nice.
basically, there are so many things that happen and we feel like we have no way around it. This is my fate. Until we connect with a bigger part of us that once we make it conscious, you can change your destiny.
Well, it was an amazing episode. It was great to hear your story one more time and refresh everything that happened in my mind, because we talked about this for such a long time ago, and I hope that people will resonate with this message and bring some of that light into their lives as well. Great to see you, Zims.
You
Look
too.
after yourself.
Thank you. You too.
And
be well.
I'll see you next time.